Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, the Americans, I think, started a regime change operation in India. Why? They don't follow orders, and this is the menu coming from the lovers of democracy, the US, which is, and when I say US, I'm saying the guys in charge of you and I, if you are Americans. And what's going on over there? I think they try to destabilize India in order to make India follow orders. That's the way they do it. They like democracy insofar the right person wins. If the wrong person wins, we're gonna have a regime change after we threaten you, we blackmail you, then we try a regime change with some violation or maybe a spontaneous uprising. And if that doesn't work, straight strikes on you because you're a narco-terrorist. Remember Maduro. This is the free world nowadays. I guess it's been like this forever, but at least we didn't know in detail their garbage. Alright, do you feel comfortable being represented by this kind of policies? Do you feel comfortable? I don't feel comfortable at all. If this is the rule, at least tell us so. Don't work towards be nice, be on time, work hard, pay your dues, pay your taxes, be politically correct and all that. Tell us straight, man, you need to be a thug. That's a thuggish world, which I think it is. It's just a pretense of civilization. So that's the first one. Deadly car blast in Indian capital. I think this is meant to create problems in India in order to change the regime over there, the elected officials, Mr. Modi, Dr. Jai Shankar, and so on. Why? Because the Kremlin confirms Putin's visit to India. What a coincidence, isn't it? They tried in Kashmir with the terrorists from Pakistan, and now they try something else. They're always going to try ethnic, racial, economic unrest in the countries in order to trigger a mini revolution. And then after the mini revolution is successful, like in Ukraine, for instance, they've been trying in Serbia lately and in Georgia lately, everybody will be peaceful. Why? They're gonna make sure that everybody stays home. We're gonna make everybody stay home. Have you noticed that after this kind of revolutions occur, it's quiet? Why? The right people got in charge. That's the reason why. And the good people don't act like that. Alright, let's go to the next one. The US, in the meantime, conducts 2 deadly strikes on suspected narco-terror vessels in Pacific. That's a war crime, not a war crime. That's a crime, not a war crime. It's a crime. But hey, those are our boys. At least drop the veneer of civilization and the rule of law or rules-based world order. No, you just want Venezuela's oil. You don't give a shit if there's any Venezuelan or just monkeys or just dogs or just pigs or just birds in Venezuela. You care about the oil. If tomorrow Maduro says this, guys in Washington DC, I give you access 100% to plunder Venezuela. I'm not gonna stop you. I'm gonna give you all the oil because I'm the dictator. I'm in charge, you say. Therefore, you take everything. I guarantee you that if Maduro says that, he would be invited in the White House within a month. And they will say, well, you were a former jihadist. Remember the Syrian president? Guy in charge. Our guy, but he's the good guy because it's our guy. The reformed jihadist nowadays is the president. He's gonna go to Washington DC. He's gonna go and spread to the White House. He joined the ISIS coalition against ISIS. This is how these things work. But hey, we're the good people. No, we're not. I'm not saying we're the bad people. We are good and bad. The problem is when you have the potential, you commit always more crimes than the ones that do not. If you have atomic bombs, you can create and you have tanks, airplanes, you're going to commit more crimes than if you have a knife, remember? Alright, so that's another topic. The next one, and the last one, has to do with Mr. Sarkozy. Do you remember Mr. Sarkozy? Well, do you know anything about Mr. Sarkozy? Who's Sarkozy? Sarkozy is the Jewish Hungarian former president of France. Yeah. He's Jewish, Yeah, Mr. Sarkozy is Jewish. He was born, or his family comes from Hungary, and he became the president of France. Now he was jailed for his little crimes. They ignored the big crimes. This is the current status in the West, the free West. The big crimes are ignored if you're the right guy. But if you're not the right guy, let's say Miss Marine Le Pen, the same thing, man. You got embezzlement here. We have to send you to jail and ban you from running. So Mr. Sarkozy was freed from prison. He's out after 2 weeks of being in a kind of like solitary confinement, so he doesn't get smacked around by Gaddafi's supporters in jail. He was released. Mr. Sarkozy is a free man. I'm sorry. House arrest. Arrest me. Let me stay at the house. Baby doll, I'm lonely. Click, come and blow me. All right, this is the way it works, my friends. And Sarkozy, poor guy, just because he's 80. I have no more compassion for old people. I used to. Do you remember why? Why I said that? Because an old person, I don't know when he was young if he was a piece of shit, an abuser, a criminal, and so on. So now that he's old and frail, and he reminds us of our grandparents, but you know, his name is, let's say, Harry Truman, for a change, or Moses, or Stalin, if you want, Mr. Jugashvili. They were criminals. But now because they're old, I have to have compassion, and no compassion. Fuck off. That's how I roll. So in this case, Sarkozy is about 80. Come on, man, you wouldn't send... Do you know what Sarkozy did? All right, these are the topics. Let's go with the revolution in Indian capital. I think it was all programmed and initiated, and cells were activated. Oh, it's going to be a spontaneous, you see, it's going to be exactly as it was in Serbia. It is in Serbia. Exactly how it was in Georgia, exactly how it was in Ukraine. A color revolution. People are fed up with Modi. All of a sudden. Why? Putin is about to visit. There you go. Russia Today. Deadly car blast in Indian capital. 13 people are reported to have been killed after a vehicle exploded near a crowded metro station in New Delhi. 13 people. Where's my glasses? In my ass. Okay, here I am. The incident took place outside the Red Fort metro station at about 7 p.m. local time during an evening Russian hour, according to local media reports. The Delhi police commissioner, told the media that the blast occurred in a slow-moving vehicle that stopped at the red light. He noted that there may be passengers inside. Eyewitnesses reported seeing a huge fireball and very loud explosion. All right. Modi has reportedly been briefed about the incident by Home Minister Security services are said to be in constant contact with Home Minister and about the situation. Conduct thorough investigation. Right here. Police found nearly 2,900 kilograms of explosives in the city of Hardibadabagabagab, located just 50 kilometers away from Indian capital. That's about 30 miles. So what could be? The bust made in connection with a major counter-terrorism operation conducted by Jammu, Kashmir and Haryana police. 2 men on a system in Baba. So my point is this. Wait. Do you know what the big problem in Serbia is? A friend of mine sent me a message and he said, well, Emil, it was about 14 people who died in that collapsing thing, and it was corruption in Serbia, and the people responsible for the contracts were not arrested by the authorities. Therefore, it's corruption. It's 14 people, families, and so on. That's horrible. That's horrible. If that is true, the people responsible should be punished. And then the European Union can take over Serbia because they're going to bring no corruption whatsoever. Now, I'm not saying that 2 beds make it a good, but what's the alternative? Get these guys down and get the European Union conquering Serbia? No, I disagree with that. I'm not a Serb, but nevertheless, I like the Serbs, and I don't think that they should follow what Brussels says. If there's corruption, the people responsible, guilty ones, after the due process, should be whatever the punishment is if they were found guilty. But don't give a country to a criminal entity, an organization in Brussels, I would say, corrupt to the bone marrow, to those, because why? Because these guys are corrupt? Be careful, you play with a nation, not with Vucic and 3 other baboons. Just so you know. So I think the same thing will happen here. These guys will escalate into, oh my God, something happens over here. What's going on? And you're going to have mass demonstrations, as I said, ethnic, racial, and economic, like the poor against the rich, because the rich took the wealth from the poor, were distributed the poor's wealth, and now they need a redistribution. I missed that day when wealth was distributed. Do you know when that occurred? Because I was not notified. I missed the memo. God damn it. When I hear this guy, we want a redistribution of wealth. Redistribution? That implies that it was distributed at one point. When was that? Maybe you tell me next time when it's going to be the redistribution. I'm going to take my bags of nothing, of bags, come over there and say, give me some. Okay. Give me some. Okay. I got many bags here. God damn it. All right. And why? Right here. Kremlin confirms Putin's visit to India. Are you sure? That's very dangerous over there in New Delhi. The Russian president's trip to New Delhi is scheduled to take place before end of 2025. That is what, 1 month and a half? Peskov said, excellent. So who would profit if Putin doesn't go over there? Well, the same ones who who benefited from the explosion of Nord Stream pipelines under the Baltic Sea or in the Baltic Sea. The same guys, but they're not the suspects. Russia and those guys, 6 + 1, were the suspects. The Ukrainians did it. No, they didn't. I think it was the Americans, the Brits, the Norwegians, maybe the Danes, and maybe the Swedes who are, don't say anything about us, it was us too. You take the investigation. I don't know what happened. I'm going to get more in Malmo. What happens in Malmo? Ask the guys who are taking over Sweden what happens in Malmo. So yeah, they try to destroy the unity or the alliance future soon to be between India, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, all the bad dudes against us. The free world who organizes coup d'etats everywhere. Why? When democracy doesn't work our way, that's what you do it. But only we are allowed to do that. They are not. Why? Because we identified them as being evil and we identified ourselves to being good. But nobody else, we say, has the same right of identification like we do. Okay? Now, do you think that's right? This is childish. It's a level of a baboon if you don't get it. If you're below 86 IQ, you don't get it. If you're 87, I have expectations. All right, let's go. 1 percentile. Let's see how the Americans distribute democracy because they fight drugs, man, and they protect us by avoiding due process because that's what we do. But remember, when they infringe or violate someone's rights, next day could be you and could be yours truly. Okay? Why? They're just gonna label you as such. You're a narco-terrorist, right there, boom. And they're gonna tell everybody that you, when you drove that car, that you have the big pickup truck that you have, it was full of drugs. They will tell you that. Evidence, trust us. Remember that Mowgli, how is it called? Jungle Books, the cartoons with Ka, the snake. Trust in me, just in me, close your eyes and trust in me. It's exactly what the United States of America does. Has all kind of crimes behind, but trust me, look into my eyes. God damn it. I mean, really. But they know they can get away with it. 40% of a population in the West is below 86 IQ. Below 86 IQ, you are considered clinically. You know what I mean? Clinically. So you have 40% of a society who's clinically considered. How can you create a society with that? You make them push a button, book, do this every day. That's how you do it. But they have to vote, and they have the same vote as you do. With 150 IQ, mind you. You're welcome. All right, that's why you're with me here, because you are very, very bright. You're a genius. All right, let's move on. U.S. conducts 2 deadly strikes on suspected narco-terror vessels in Pacific. Do you remember how that is? Shoot first, ask questions later. That's exactly what these guys do. Not even that. I can remember where I read it, because I read so much. It was somewhere where they were talking about the Spaniards, the bad Spaniards who came here and in South America and the Mesoamerica, and they enslaved and they took over the peaceful indigenous native populations who came from somewhere else, but they're indigenous. And they took over with what? 100 people, Cortez and 5 horses. Anyway, what they had? Anyway, let's move on. Remember, it was, if you don't, I tell you, and I will tell you. It was a priest. It was a monk, and came and told the priest. No, a priest. Who was that? I think that's the way it was. And he said, "What are you doing here, Father? We are killing the innocent, the indigenous population." It was not indigenous at that time. It was the, you know what I mean? Right, we're killing this. What is God? How is God gonna know if they're good or bad? How can we distinguish this? And God said, "Don't worry, son. Our goal is our goal. Our job is to just kill them, send them to God, and God's job is to see who was good and who is bad." The same here. Trump is killing everyone, and then it's God's job to distinguish this is good and this is bad. You understand? Okay, but how about the guys that were good and were blown up? It's okay. Trump is gonna go to hell. I don't give a shit. I think it's very nice and hot over there. And as someone said, in hell, they're all the interesting people. I don't want to go over there. You can go if you want. I want to go with the interesting people down there. Not with the one that have no balls and... Anyway, so here we have it. Another one struck. Good job, America. It's Christmas time. Next one, and the last one, Sarkozy released from prison despite conviction. Are you surprised? You are allowed, I allow you, being in the same, I allow you to be surprised only under 2 circumstances, or maybe 3. 2, let's put it, because I take the living in denial not as that means you know, but you don't want to know. You don't want to accept. 1, if you are below about 25 years of age, if you're below, I let you go, all right? But if you're over 25, I don't accept you being surprised. You're not supposed to be surprised if you're over 25. But by 25, you kind of sense who's who and what's on our planet. Got that? That's the first one. And the other one, if you really don't know shit. I mean, one is you're too young, and the other one, you're an ignorant. Not an ignorant. Yeah, an ignorant. The person who doesn't know shit. Not a stupid guy. That's a different story. That's a different guy. An ignorant is like, I don't know anything about anything. I understand. Okay, no problem. You are busy making a different life, taking care of your family, and so on. Oh, no? You had fun with the ladies of the night? No problem. That too. I understand. These are the 2 circumstances when I allow you to be surprised. Sarkozy released from prison despite conviction. You should know, if you are over 24 and you read something about the world, that this guy was supposed to be. Why? He was born in Hungary, and he is... Everybody say it. He is... Oh, let me drink some juice. I'm going to drink some juice, my friend. Actually, some coffee. All right. That's why I'm so... So let's see what's happened here. The former French president was sentenced to 5 years for criminal campaign conspiracy 3 weeks ago. Former French President Sarkozy was granted conditional release from prison. They moved fast, man, in 3 weeks. Conditional release from prison on Monday, less than 3 weeks after he began serving a 5-year sentence over a plot to obtain secret campaign funds from the late Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi. Sarkozy, who was found guilty of criminal conspiracy to finance his 2007 election campaign in September, has been moved to house arrest. Bring the dancers. I don't like you. You're kind of fat. Move. Your teeth are drooped. Okay. All right now. I'm going to just sit here or lay here, and you ladies do what you do best. You're kind of too fast. Move slowly. Take those down. Okay, that's the way Sarkozy will be. I mean, at 80, he's going to be like probably, I don't know, stick something in my ass era. All right. French prosecutors have requested that Sarkozy was placed under strict judicial oversight. Ooh, pending his appeal trial. Alright, the former president will be banned from any contact with witnesses. No problem. Not ladies of the night, let them come. Or other indicted people. So they don't have a criminal record, that's fine. And cannot leave friends in the meantime. I don't think he's gonna leave friends in the meantime. Sarkozy consistently denied any wrongdoing. You got it? Alright, and we have here, Sarkozy got away with all but his smallest crimes. He took Gaddafi's money, used it to make himself president, then killed the guy. All that for the low cost of 5 years in jail by Rachel Marsden. Let me see. We always look at these things. We want to see who's who, what's what. She looks like Kaya Kallas or the little tiny dancer, what was the Finnish president, remember the one, 38 years old or something, a dancer, tiny dancer. Anyway, good for you, Rachel. Here we have that guy right there, and this is the one. How best to explain why exactly President Persian, I got it right the third time, Parisian judge, his name is what? Mohamed Abdullah? Judge have hit former French President Nicolas Sarkozy with 5 years prison. Let's just say that he was found guilty of supervising a bunch of movers. And those movers were hauling around suitcases loaded with cash, around $50 million to be precise. Got that? And this guy was the president. And okay, he's Jewish. Why did I mention that? He's proud of it. So am I. Why? Because that helps people below 25 or ignorance to understand how the world moves. Got that? Now if you got that, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.